This is the cream of the crop.
Heads up, Gears. This is Colin the Crow Clark coming at you with C.I.C. episode number 2. Now, last week I asked you for your feedback and any possible suggestions you had for this series. I took some of those into account this week. We're going to continue to try to improve each and every week and make this something that you all look forward to. But without further ado, let's get right into the action from everything Gears Esports Summer Quarter, week number 5. And as always, we're going to start with our boys from across the pond over there with EGL. In week 5, they had Rated R go against Team C.I.C, as well as Oxygen going up against Elevate. There's a little bit of a miscalculation there on that screen, though, as Rated R was pushed to a map number 3. They gave Team C.I.C their first map win. But let's take a look at some of the action from those series. We go into map number 1 here between Rated R and Team C.I.C. Team C.I.C now up 4-2 in this final round. They're applying a lot of pressure in this round as well, trying to go for the home hill of Rated R, and they're losing their own home at the same time, but that one member of Rated R is just rotating around the map. That'll be Dragons. He's going to end up getting into a 1v1 here at the E-Hill, and when he loses that just about wraps things up because J-Rage turns around and gets one of his own. You see that the countdown timer coming through at the top of the map will help signify the very end of this round. You see one more play by Rated R was going to try to be made here, but it will be to no avail because as Team C.I.C crossed that 200-point threshold with the incendiary grenades out, they all but wrapped things up, which did give them their very first map win here in the Pro League. They won 4 rounds in a row to secure this map and to close it out. Big performance by J-Rage with a 15-kill, 7-assist map. We go to map number 2, though, and it is a tale of 2 different games because in map number 2, Rated R win 4 rounds in a row here on Vascar, 5 rounds in a row to close the entire thing out. They kept constant pressure on the opposing team. They never felt out of control of any of these rounds or maps. It was one of the most devastating performances I've seen Rated R put on somebody, but they're playing that COG side, which did give them a lot of ability to take over that tank side of the map every time they wanted. Dragons here just waiting in the wings with the drop shot. 3 members of Team C.I.C were stacked up there on the left side. He gets 2 with the first drop, gets the 3rd with the 2nd, and with all 5 down and dead, the elimination domination comes through. And on the back of somebody like Paynes getting a 19-kill, 9 assists with only 2 deaths, they take a 5-0 victory in map number 2. And then we finally wrap things up here at EGL with map number 3 of the first series. On exhibit, Rated R goes up 4-1 going into this last round of the map. And it is one of the best fights I've ever seen Rated R take. This is damn near their house. They put on an exhibit here in the museum every single time they play it. The shotgun fights in those hallways just seem to always go in their favor, especially at the B and E hills. Again, I just got to throw this out there. Paynes with another almost perfect performance. He gets 13 kills and 7 assists in map 3, which actually give him 43 kills and 27 assists across all 3 of those maps in that series against Team C.I.C, giving Rated R a 2-1 victory, and they're wrapping up first place in the Pro League for back-to-back quarters. We move to the next game, though, from EGL. It was Elevate versus Oxygen Supremacy. They started out on Vascar, which was won by Elevate 5-2. They ended up winning their 4 rounds in a row to take that 4-0 lead. Oxygen comes back and wins 2 back-to-back to apply a little bit of pressure here in map number 1. But one of the things that I got to go ahead and say is that the Wolfpack from Elevate, they just hit a switch. They would have multiple members in a small area together. They'd push across the map, get the kills to help secure the hills. And it was on the backs of some huge performances out of guys like Phelpsy, Crimson, and Crazed. Crimson's was my MVP of the map, though. 15 kills, 11 assists, only 5 deaths. You see they continue to dominate here with the kills. The elimination domination comes through. There is that 5-2 round count we talked about just a few moments ago. They moved to map number 2, though, which was Bunker. It was a little bit closer. It was 5-3 overall. We're getting some looks here at the last round. One of the things I just got to point out is rounds 3 through 5 went in favor of Elevate, and that 5th round did give them their 4th out of the 5 rounds they needed to win the map. Hydron and Crazed during the first half constantly applied pressure to the home hill of Oxygen, which kept them over-rotating and kept people for Oxygen on islands, and they were never able to get together like they have been in previous bouts. There's a beautiful double kill there by Jack Fex to help secure this final round and the hills. Crimson's again 10 and 13, giving them a 25 and 24 stat line for the 2 maps. And EGL wraps their week up with a 2-1 for Rated R, wrapping up the quarter in first place, and a 2-0 for Elevate over Oxygen. We are now, though, going to move to the Latin America scene, ladies and gentlemen, where we will get to see the standings here just a moment. Pittsburgh Knights, after this week, are still tied for first place with Fire and Ice at 4 points apiece. Rebel there with 2. Parallax Gaming, not any points on the board yet. The 2 games for TVAzteca were Fire and Ice versus Parallax and Pittsburgh Knights versus Rebel. We go to map number 1 of game 1, where Fire and Ice take a 4-3 lead on they take a 4-3 lead on to Bunker. They end up winning it 5-3. The second half was back and forth, though. There was no team winning a consecutive round throughout the second half until Fire and Ice finally closed things out. You're taking a look at what seems to be the very last fight in this round. They end up getting a beautiful house party here. Everybody begins to dance once they clean up 1 to 2 more kills. Nobody for Fire and Ice applying pressure here goes down, and there's the 5-man Disco Inferno. Krabbies 21 and 11 there on map number 1. We go to map number 2. It is 4-4, round number 9. Parallax want to win this round to get the 5-4 victory to take it to a map number 3. Parallax won 3 rounds in a row to help close this thing out as well. So consecutive rounds in the second half going to Parallax. It was a war on the E-Hill all second half, though, as both teams continued to press against the tide, play tug-of-war at E as we're used to seeing here. And it was a magnificent performance out of a guy like Nero for Parallax Gaming, getting a 27-kill, 22-assist map. On the other side, Krabbies continuing to perform for Fire and Ice, getting 17 kills, 15 deaths, but the pressure across the 50-yard line for Parallax continued to keep them in this one. You're going to see that first kill by Nero. He pushes in, gets into a 1v1, he gets shut down there, but it kept Crystallized full red, allowed for Shockwave to finish him off. They continue to apply pressure. They get that triple cap domination here, they threaten it, and they get the 250 score point accumulation to win map number 2. And as we move to map number 3 between Fire and Ice and Parallax Gaming, it is a 4-2 round count at this point, where we pick things up and it becomes a 5-2 finale as Parallax win round number 1 of map number 3 to continue their dominance. They continue to apply pressure to Fire and Ice, but they just cannot close things out as Fire and Ice become very hot, rack up 4 rounds in a row to apply all the pressure to Parallax Gaming. You can even see on your screen here where Parallax have 4 members with no respawns remaining in their bank toward the end of this round. And literally, Fire and Ice can sit back. They cross that 200-point threshold. Fiercely gets another drop shot. They're going to end up shutting things down here very shortly as they begin to wipe one member of Parallax off after another. And I just think we have to keep an eye on how good they have become here in recent weeks, winning that last Emergence Day, getting a 2-1 victory here over Parallax, and helping shut things down for their squad. Krabbies was my MVP, though, as he gets in map number 3, 19 kills and 9 assists, giving him a 58-kill, 35-assist, 3-map series. We go to match number 2, though, between Pittsburgh Knights and Rebel Esports, where Pittsburgh Knights take a 4-3 lead here on Vascard, which ends up netting them a 5-3 victory. They get 3 in a row to close things out. You can see the rotations after Identives gets his home hill from the side of Pittsburgh Knights to help shut things down. They're going to go for their home in that mid-neutral hill, and they've got things set up just outside the home hill of Rebels, so they're going to have to push against the tide on both sides of the map because they're going to need multiple man decaps to be able to get any kind of momentum back in this thing, but you can see 1 kill coming through for Rebel. They still have to push against and get decaps. Reflame, though, 0 respawns already in this round. This one ends up coming out very shortly with the finisher for Pittsburgh Knights on the back of a headshot there out of Identiv. Summons will get it down. Monkeys will pick one up. Ravers is going to pick one up. They go for the elimination domination as they try to hunt down the rest of the members of Rebel in this round. You see they threaten the triple cap, not allowing Rebel to really push back into anything. Another kill comes through. The fight at the home hill is going to be won by Pittsburgh as a third member of Rebel is eliminated. There's the fourth. All over. Elimination domination secured. 5-3, map number 1. Pittsburgh Knights comes away with it. We move to map number 2, where Pittsburgh Knights continue their domination in this matchup. They win a 5-1, map number 2, over the side of Rebel. Raver was absolutely dominant throughout the entirety of the map. Every time he took a fight, no matter where it was, whether it be at the B hill or the E hill, Raver was a force to be reckoned with and was not going to be denied. Pittsburgh Knight not just set up at the 50-yard line with a mid-neutral single home hill cap setup. They continue to apply pressure. You see Chaos try to push back against the tide, only getting 1 there, and now it is up to Monkeys to just bounce around because they're down to the final 5 seconds. As long as he's alive, he can delay them from getting to the home hill, and with that final tick, you see that they get the 5-1 round count lead, the 2-0 victory over Rebel. And I've got to say that Crack was my MVP in map number 1. He got 18 kills, 11 assists. In map 2, 20 kills and 12 assists, giving him a 38-23 scoreline for maps 1 and 2. And once again, TVAzteca, beautiful graphic by them showing Pittsburgh and Fire and Ice are going to have to settle things sooner rather than later as they are still tied for first place with 4 points apiece. We now move over to North America, where we are going to have the first side, that NA off stream that I like to run on my personal stream. We start things off with Vanquish versus Hive, and this one was without a doubt one of my favorite maps to see with Asylum because Hive has really improved on this map. They've shown that defense and setups can win them these maps. We come here to this last round of map number 1 because they've got 2 drop shots, one in the hand of Solars, one in the hand of Force. It looks like Vanquish is going to push back against the tide, but the kills come out from those drops from Solars. Force is going to shoot one out here momentarily where you're going to see him get a team kill, but it's not going to matter because he's actually rotated into a position to ensure that he can get right back to the E-Hill. There's a double kill for Force, and that slows things down and gets them the map number 1 victory over Vanquish. We will move to map number 2 on District, where it was 4-4, ladies and gentlemen. The first half was about even. These teams trading blows, trying to get that map for Vanquish. But one of the things that you have to take and heed of and be careful of, as you can already see, Cells is down for his team. It's a 5v4 effective, and with multiple members on Hive not having any respawns, they also know that nobody for the side of Vanquish has any. And Vanquish has one last push here to try to win the round. Solars and I believe Tidy back up into their home. Tidy with a body shot sniper gets the down. That cleans up a second across the map. Xovios will get one with that drop shot. And with 3 dead and the last 2 having to push into the jaws of the defense of Hive, they wrap things up in a 2-0 fashion over Vanquish and get a 5-4 victory in map number 2. We will move to the second game on the off stream, which was Rise versus Pain, and that started out on Bunker, and Rise put on an absolute clinic on how to win this map of Bunker. Inzem on your screen getting a little rotational help, getting that first kill out with Rushies onto exclusive. It was an absolute beatdown, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only way that I can describe it. Rise, they had 3 retakes to win 3 of those 5 rounds. They may have lost the initial, but all 3 of their retake possibilities in that first half actually come through clean, where they not give up any deaths. The mid-round adjustments by Rise, who they picked off, who they picked on, were just absolutely crucial. They close out round number 5 with 4 kills in a row to get the elimination domination and a 5-0 victory in map number 1. We move to map 2, though, Training Grounds. Tale of 2 stories here as Pain has a 4-3 round count lead. They use defense. They use the setups to slowly tick away at the lives of Rise. It is their bread and butter, ladies and gentlemen. It's what they were strong at to start the game with. They had that fantastic showing, at least 4 out of the 5 members of Pain back in San Diego to eliminate that NRG squad, and now it looks like they're trying to return to form, using their setups, winning those initials, forcing teams to play their fights. You see the shot comes out, Franchise stuck on the back of the E-Hill, can't even jump in, and that ends up closing things out for Pain in that second map. We will move to map number 3, though. Round 9. Pain is just a few moments away from winning their first matchup in the Pro League over a team like Rise. It's going to come down to the drop shot fight, though, and one final retake by Pain. You can see Rushy's trying to get a pick here on that drop. One of the things I've got to point out in map number 3 is that Rise Nation was down in rounds and closed 3 rounds out in a row to win it 5-4 in round number 9. Pain kept it close, though, continuing to decap the E-Hill, continuing to keep pressure on. The only thing I have to say in this finale, where you see Pain trying to push against the tide and win this final fight, is both drop shots come out and both drop shots wasted by Pain. Not a single kill comes through. Franchise is going to try to D the hop over, gets one, bounces and gets the second, gets taken down in the 1v. All of this fighting, though, by Pain is all for naught, because even though Lava will win this final 1v to win the hill, C.I.C at the E-Hill secures it with a huge 1v1 victory in map number 3. 5-4. They get a 2-1 victory over Pain. We move to the third match of the day, though. It was PTHM and Noble. This was a banger of a series. We had back-to-back map number 3s in our second and third games of the day on the off stream. PTHM will come out on top in map number 1, though, with a 5-2 victory on Icebound. They followed a tried and true strategy, though. They used multi-man home caps to get those early point leads and then played defense, forcing Noble to push across the map and try to be perfect in their retakes. I have to give a big shout out, though, to Reptilian, as Reptilian's incendiary grenades either got kills or decaps, forcing the area of denial onto Noble, and you're going to see him get a double kill here with a pistol finish third kill. He finishes up map number 1 with a 20 kill, 13 assist stat line, and he put on an absolute show on Icebound. We went to map number 2, where it was District, and Noble flips the script on him. They got 2 rounds in map number 1, and Noble says, anything you can do, I can do better. And instead of a 5-2, they get a 5-1 in their favor here on District. The drop shot at Cinema, placed down by PDHM, is actually their Achilles heel, as they end up losing that drop initial every round after it goes down, and it did not play into their favor whatsoever. You actually see you see Noble GG finishing this round with an elimination domination, because at this drop shot, they get every single kill possible to help settle out round number 6, finishing off a 5-1 map number 2. We will take it to map number 3 between PDHM and Noble. It was on Bunker to decide it all. Reptilian once again having a stellar performance. You see the incendiary grenades in Icebound help secure kills and hills. You see him once again. Reptilian was damn near perfect in this series for his team. He gets that drop shot. He rotates out. Toady all by himself on an island has to basically kill off the final 2 to 3 members of PDHM if he wants to give his team a chance. He finally gets shut down after trying to make everything happen for his team, and that will net PDHM a 5-1 round count victory in map number 3. We will move to the final game of the day from the off stream, though. It was UIU. It was Lock. They started off on Exhibit, and a 5-1 map victory for UIU on the backs of somebody like Mental with a 17-8 kill and assist stat line. Kenny Bounce always applying pressure at the home hills, forcing Lock back into their own home, forcing them to move and rotate away from the mid-neutral. There you see Kenny finishing off that kill. Here comes the domination, going to be threatened once again. Down and out. 5-1 wrapped up on map 1. They're going to go to map number 2, UIU versus Lock on Asylum, and once again UIU just too strong. Powers with his mid-map rotations by the pavilion with that Boltok, putting constant pressure and damage onto the side of Lock, was just too much for them to handle in the first half, and in that second half on the E-Hill, they continue to push back with a Wolfpack-like mentality. UIU, you can see Mental praised and Kenny here fighting off the reinforcements of Locke and getting these kills to secure the E-Hill, and that will tick down the timer in this final round as they get retakes at E very cleanly. Powers on your screen, finishing things off in style. They get a 5-1 victory over the side of Locke. We are going to move to the mainstream, though, ladies and gentlemen. And for the final part of this video, we start things off with Pain and PTHM, their first game on the mainstream of the day. It goes 2-0 to PTHM. We start out on Bunker with a 5-3 victory. They won 4 out of the 5 final rounds to win it, though, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things we have to talk about, though, is in round number 3, Pain had all of the advantages and end up choking it away. They end up humping as well, so you see a 2-2 stat line going into the second half rather than a possible 3-1 in favor of Pain. And they gave PTHM all the life, all the momentum, and all of the necessary determination to win this map number 1. The Wolfpack by PTHM in the second half just absolutely too strong. There you see the 5-3. Although Lava did have a human highlight reel play as he got a quint in one round to finish it out. We move to map number 2. PTHM wins it 5-3 on Asylum. They were super aggressive, both halves of the map. Pain tries to push back across the threshold and get to the home hill of PTHM, but the Wolfpack, PTHM's pressure, where they kept applying it to the home hill of Pain, kept forcing Pain back into their spawn, kept forcing them to rotate back across the map, never leaving anybody in really a perfect position to back up any teammates. You see the home-to-home strategy comes out for PTHM. They cross the 230-point threshold. Dazed gets called in a 1v1 to save the day. He clutches up and gets a beautiful kill there to help close out the second map. Dazed with a 21-14 stat line in the first map and a 14-11 in the second, netting him 35-25 kills and assists in this 2-0 victory over Pain. Makes him a very happy man for that Sunday. Reptilian, the MVP of the second map, though. Beautiful job by them. You see the 5-3 stat line to finish it out. We move to map number 2. And match number 2, Vanquish versus Locke. It was going to go in favor of Vanquish, ladies and gentlemen. Or excuse me, it's going to go in favor of Vanquish 2-0. We start out on Asylum. It's a 5-0 victory for Vanquish. One of the things we got to point out is Handles in map number 5 gets a 3-piece across the top entrance side to help really apply the pressure to the last 2 members of Locke down at their home hill. The other thing we have to make sure we point out in this round, though, one of the things that you will see in the first round of the first half and the first round of the second half with those longer respawn times is that you can easily win by elimination domination. There's the 3-piece by Handles on your screen. This round ends up only being about 30 seconds long as they finish off Propels there at the train tracks. Across the map, Detox goes down. 5-0 victory for the side of Vanquish. Precision. 10-2 stat line in map number 1. Not really a lot to be said about that. Just perfection out of Precision. We go to Bunker, where Locke shows signs of life, ladies and gentlemen. Vanquish still get the win, though, in a 5-2 fashion over the side of Locke here on Bunker. You see, Vanquish loses a lot of those first rounds. They end up getting blooded a lot of the times, and they have to come back. Their retakes are pretty successful. They lose 1 or 2 members, but the mid-round adjustments were just about perfect. You can see Handles getting a couple kills here in this final home hill fight. I believe he goes down before he can get a 3rd or a 4th. There's the 3rd, and the 4th will shut him down. Precision, though, getting 17 kills, 16 assists in this map with a 27-18 2-map series for him. The Wolfpack out of Vanquish, just absolutely too strong here. They're in the final moments of this round. They're going to end up shutting things down, and in 1 second, they finish off a 5-2 map 2 victory over the side of Locke. They get a 2-0 victory in game 2 on the mainstream. We move to game number 3. UIU versus Noble. This is a matchup that I know they looked forward to. Both Guy Blaze and PR said it themselves. They wanted to see if Noble could make history repeat itself, and they came damn close. We come to map 1 on District, where UIU will get themselves a 5-2 victory over the side of Noble. Kenny Mounts throwing out last-second drops, just desperation here, just to try to finish off 1 to 2 more members of the side of Noble. They didn't allow the setups like they did when Noble beat them 5-0 on this map last quarter. They played together and wolf-packed around the map much better. They continued to apply pressure. The drop shot strat for UYU was just about perfect, though, and you can see praise moving up. Look at these three members of UYU quickly in succession getting kills, playing together, forcing Lanarchy to try to roll into that hill last second, and there's the 5-2, wrapping it up for UYU. But tale of two maps as we move to map number 2 on Bunker. Noble gets the 5-2 victory over UYU on map number 2. They lose the first 2 rounds, though, back to back. So you lose 5-2 on map 1. You come back. You win the first 2 rounds of a map. You lose the first 2 rounds of map 2. You've lost 7 out of the last possible 9 rounds. But you come back and win 5 in a row on one of the best teams in the world. Noble went back to their bread and butter, though. They went back to their setups. They went back to defense to win them hills, win them kills, and win map number 2. Zysho only having 10 kills, but he had 24 downs. He was the assist machine across the entire team. They have 86 total downs and eliminations and assists. It was a beautiful job by them to help win this map number 2. We go to map number 3, though, where we're going to settle things. It's for the kit and caboodle, ladies and gentlemen. Noble, they go for that classic sniper strat. UYU counters by placing it at the tank. And playing that cog side, they have a stronger opening setup for that tank side of the map. So playing as cog, they'll get a better chance at picking that sniper every single round. They over-rotate and out-rotate Noble throughout the entire map, continue to use that wolf pack, continue to play together and apply pressure to the side of Noble. The shock and incendiary grenades that they wasted no time building, only placing that sniper at the tank when necessary to prevent Noble from getting it at their home, comes through because it allows them to shut off the crossing lanes and stop Noble from being able to push in and try to get retakes. But we go to the premier fight of the night, ladies and gentlemen, the final match on the NA mainstream. It was Rise, it was Hive, and it did not disappoint for a fan of Rise, but it didn't disappoint for a fan of Gears Esports. It goes to Bunker. It goes all 3 maps. It's a 4-4 round 9 in map 1. Rounds 5 through 7. They get under their belt, so Rise continues to apply the pressure as they get those 3 rounds back to back to back and force Hive to win back-to-back rounds to try to win the map. They ended up starting out slowly, but as Rise sped up, as they started to get their bearings about them and their wits about them, you could see that they increased the pace on Hive and put them in a terrible situation. It was up to Demise to get one more break at the home hill of Rise, shut down by C.I.C. A little Saturday Night Fever to shut things down. 5-4. They get map number 1 under their belts. We go to map 2, though. Hive. They're going to answer back on Vaskar because Hive says, you know what? You want to speed things up? We're going to speed things up. We're going to get a bunch of kills quickly. You can see they've already eliminated 2 members of Rise Nation as they go into the ends of round number 8. The respawn economy for Rise comes back to bite them in the second half. The setups and the initial damage for Hive was just too much for them to overcome, and they got the Boltok in the hands of one of their players early, and that damage from the Boltok was monumental leading into those round victories for those final 3 rounds that Hive won back to back to back. Last map of the night for the mainstream. It was Icebound, ladies and gentlemen. It was 1-1 Hive versus Rise. Avexis will get a clutch to close things out, but before that, let's talk about the drop shots and the initials, always seemingly going in favor of Rise Nation. Even though Hive gets one or two of the respawned drop shots throughout the map, the initial just too strong for Rise Nation applying pressure. They falter early, but they come back. They get a slow start, only to come back and finish out 3 rounds in a row. You can see Avexis on your screen helping finish out 1 kill, helping finish out a 2nd kill to secure the E-Hill, and the final round to get a 5-2 victory over Hive in map number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a beautiful week number 5 for Gears Esports across the world. Once again, any feedback for the C.I.C, leave it in the comments down below or hit me up on Twitter. It doesn't matter. I'm going to try to take it all into account. But I thank you for joining me for episode 2. I'll see you next week after week 6 where we wrap things up in the EU and the LATAM regions. But that is only one of the final 2 weeks for for the NA broadcast. I hope to see you in all the streams supporting your favorite teams. See you next time. Have a great rest of your day.